President Trump just tweeting out this. ESPN is paying a really big price for its politics and bad programming. People are dumping it in record numbers. Apologize for untruth. The president just tweeted that out this morning. He's referring to ESPN host Jemele Hill after she called him a white supremacist earlier this week on Twitter. Joining us right now is the Federalist staff writer, Payton, and the Blaze TV host, Lawrence Jones. Good to see you both. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. So, Lawrence, let me kick it off with you. What do you make of the president's tweet this morning about ESPN?
Well, he's right. He's exactly right. And the problem is that when you take a political agenda on a sports network, expect to pay a price. Half of the people that are watching sports are conservative, half of them are Democrats. Just cover what you cover, which is sports. And what ESPN is doing now is taking some type of political agenda, is leaning to the left. They're supporting groups like Black Lives Matter and other political groups, and it's going to hurt their ratings at the end of the day.
Yeah, people, when they turn to sports, they want to see sports, not politics. Right. Meanwhile, violence at the University of California, Berkeley. Bree, students protesting last night as conservative commentator Ben Shapiro spoke on campus. We know now that 9 people were arrested, at least 9 people. Authorities sealed off the campus's central hub and increased police presence, reportedly costing the university as much as $600,000. For the first time in 2 decades, officers were authorized to use pepper spray. Shapiro said he came to Berkeley to promote free speech. How ironic. Listen.
The reason that I am here is because fascism does not own this university. Because there are students who do want to hear differing views, who don't want to be told that they can only hear one view, who don't believe that the First Amendment should die under the jackboots and Birkenstocks of a bunch of anarchist communist pieces of garbage.
Wow, this coming as the first test before a slew of conservative speakers are expected to visit the university later this month, including former White House White House strategist Steve Bannon, political commentators Ann Coulter, Milo Yiannopoulos. Bree, what do you make of all of this violence?
Yeah, I think it really is shameful that the university had to spend $600,000 in order to keep everyone safe, and then 9 people still got arrested because things still got out of hand. I think it really goes to show you that this campus that once was a haven of free speech has now been overrun by a bunch of social justice warriors. And the university was also offering counseling by people who felt triggered by Shapiro's presence on campus. And I'm sorry, but if you need counseling, I think you shouldn't graduate, right? And I think it also represents the low bar to which someone is considered a white supremacist, right? Ben Shapiro was called a white supremacist leading up to this event, and he himself is Jewish and was the #1 target of white supremacists on the internet last year. Right. So I think that this term white supremacist just gets thrown around a lot, as we talked about in the earlier segment a couple of seconds ago with that ESPN reporter calling Donald Trump a white supremacist also. Right. So I do think that this should spur a national conversation about who is and who isn't a white supremacist.
Yeah, it's pretty outrageous.
Yeah, neither of them are.
Yeah, you're right. Dagan.
Do they not understand the First Amendment? And when was the last time that words set fire to things and threw bottles and attacked other people?
And I thought we were supposed to have diversity on the university campus, Dagan.
But there's no diversity.
No.
That you have women's colleges in this country that are more concerned about teaching you which pronouns to use that is not to offend anybody than actually educating young women in science and mathematics. And I know that firsthand. But to Ben Shapiro, at least Berkeley did have him speak because they could have turned their backs on any conservative speakers and just said, we can't handle the violence.
Yeah. Well, Lawrence, you had to pay $600,000 to do it, but go ahead.
Exactly, and the fact that Ben Shapiro had to come out of his pocket with the Young Americans Foundation is ridiculous. I think this is a time for people on the left. We need giants on the left. This is not about political ideology. This is about being American. And if you cannot stand for the free speech on the right, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
The most protected speech should be the speech that you don't like.
Right, and all the shaming that goes on when the other side doesn't agree. It's just constant, like robots on Twitter and on text, just trying to shame you into it. It's outrageous.
I should just say what's amazing, they didn't let Bill Maher there either. So this whole idea of where political correctness has gone and the pendulum swinging that much is exactly.
Well, they don't like what Bill Maher has to say about Muslims,
right?
about
saying,
organized religion in general. So
no, my only point was that the pendulum has swung way too far on the campuses.
Well, the irony is, those who preach the most tolerance are the least tolerant in the society,
Exactly.
and that is Berkeley.
And it's outrageous.
Yeah.
The First Amendment is about putting up with and allowing for even the most repugnant, appalling speech and viewpoints. Because, again, when you try to crack down on what you think or what Lawrence might think, then it's going to come full circle, and it will come back to haunt you.
Yeah.
They will come back to crack down on what you think and what you have to say.
Yeah.
Dagan, I don't like the KKK. I don't like the KKK, but I can't just go around wanting to set them on fire every chance I get. They have a right. It's sad, but they have a right. There's going to come a point in time where people are going to come after people like me being on TV saying my speech doesn't matter, and I'm just giving my opinion.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Lawrence. All right.